is an occasion of gigantic proportions. It's India versus Pakistan in the Champions Trophy, and it doesn't get any bigger than this. A huge match, a huge setting, and I have with me today two huge guests. As Meman, noted cricket expert, joins me from Delhi, and former India international Rohan Gavaskar joins me from England. We'll discuss the huge matchup between India and Pakistan in detail, and also the Champions Trophy in general in this program, which is brought to you by OPPO. I'd come to Rohan Gavaskar first. You know, India versus Pakistan contests are all about raw passion. It's all about fan frenzy. I know there is a lot of support for both the teams in England. So have you had the opportunity to interact with some of the fans and talk to us about the atmosphere that you find there in England?
Well, look, honestly, like you said, it's all about the fans' passion. They bring the energy to the ground. You mentioned the word frenzy, but what I will tell you is that the players will be calm and collected. There will be nerves, but those nerves won't be that much different from the nerves that you get when you play any other team. If it was an India-Australia game, the players would still have nerves. They will need to be calm, cool, collected, thinking on the ground. You can't let the fans' frenzy and the fact that there's a lot of passion involved affect your thinking while playing the game. You can't let it affect your game. It's going to be a cracker. It's going to be a cracker of a game simply because this is a huge tournament. It's the Champions Trophy, and this is the first game of this campaign for India and Pakistan. A win over here puts you in a really good position to get yourself in the semi-finals.
Absolutely. Coming to Ayaz Memon, so I'd ask you, the Indian team has had to deal with a lot of controversies. Even the controversies are not showing any signs of dying down. Not just the Indian team, Indian cricket in general. We've had Ramchandra Guha resigning from the committee of administrators. Do you think this turmoil would have any effect on the Indian team's psyche?
Well, let me put it very honestly. I think the short answer would be yes and no. As human beings, you would be subject to all kinds of influences that happen, especially when it relates to your own team, your own country, your fellow players and coach. Having said that, I don't think look at it this way. Anil Kumble, we all know him for the kind of player he was, and the single-mindedness with which he approached his job, even as a coach. When it comes to a big match like that, he may have a difference of opinion, or may have had a difference of opinion with the captain. Would you think he'll let it affect the team's performance today? Certainly not. Likewise, Virat Kohli, who's so passionate about winning every match he plays. So I don't, when it comes to playing this tournament, this match, I think that the players have the ability and certainly the motivation to put all other things aside and go out and try and win today's match. As Rohan mentioned, it's not just about playing Pakistan. That in itself is a very, from the point of view of the subcontinent, the fans and everybody else, it's a very melodramatic occasion in itself. But that apart, a win in the first game gets you 33% of the way to getting a place in the semi-final. So beating Pakistan or Pakistan beating India is not the end of the tournament. You still have to go out and try and win the trophy.
Rohan, in all the glare of the Kumble-Kohli conflict, and what would have worked well for Pakistan, that they have been away from the spotlight and they have been building up to this big match. So perhaps the days of Wasim and Waqar and Inzamam are past, and perhaps the Pakistan team is a bit light on experience. But what do you feel? How do you rate the Pakistan team that is going to turn up today?
Well, look, like you said, rightly said, the Pakistan team is light on experience. It's if I had to make a combined India-Pakistan 11 out of the two teams that are playing, there are very few Pakistani players, if I was honest, which would make my 11. Babar Azam would be one of them. Mohammad Amir would be one of them. Other than that, I'm not so sure there'll be too many Pakistani players coming into my 11 at the moment. Again, Pakistan being such an unpredictable side, you never know which Pakistan team will turn up. They've got some quality players. I've actually interacted a lot with Ahmad Shehzad. He was part of the Nagana Hira Nagas team in Sri Lanka and the Sri Lankan Premier League, which I was part of, and he is a talent. But he shows flashes of his talent. On his day, he can be as good as anyone. We've seen Babar Azam. He's been an outstanding form in his last 11 ODIs. He scored 500s. So again, he's someone that the Indian team needs to keep an eye out and hopefully dismiss early. Mohammad Amir, we know what Mohammad Amir can do, and if conditions favor him in Birmingham, if the ball starts moving around a little bit, darting around a little bit, he will be a handful. Our openers and number 3, number 4 will really have to keep an eye out for him and play him sensibly, because if you try and take too many risks against Mohammad Amir initially, that could lead to your downfall. But having said that, for me, India are favourites. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that going into this game, India are firm favourites to win this game.
Absolutely. As Mevan, I'd be keen to know from you, for the first time probably in all India-Pakistan contests, we have an Indian pace bowling attack which is being considered even better than Pakistan's. Do you subscribe to that view as well? Do you feel in the Indian pace bowling attack has an edge over their Pakistani counterparts?
Well, better or not, they'll have to prove today, but certainly the Indian pace attack is very potent, which is quite different from what things used to be maybe 5, 7, 10 years ago. We've had a revolution of sorts in Indian cricket. There are, so many pace bowling options that, Virat Kohli and Anil Kumble will be in a quandary as to who to play today. And they're all in form. They're all virtually 140 plus. A couple of them are terrific swing bowlers. Somebody else bowls seam up, etc., etc. So, what one can say certainly is that on current form and certainly on paper, the Indian pace attack looks as good, if not better than Pakistan's. I'll just try to add to what Rohan said. Pakistan has traditionally been an mercurial side. You never know what they can do. They're very unpredictable. But the longer the match, in a T20 match, they ran us very close in the World T20 game. As the match becomes bigger, the depth of experience that India has got in their playing 11, and even if players are under 30, they've got far more experience. The depth of experience and the difference in class starts to matter. Pakistan, I think, if rain intervenes and the match is curtailed, number of overs come down, then Pakistan gets more and more into the game, because the shorter the game, the more level the playing field, if you understand what I mean. Yeah. So West Indies will be T20 champions, but cannot qualify for the Champions Trophy when it comes to the 50-over match, and are certainly nowhere near even a half-decent test team today. So, if the match gets shortened, Pakistan's prospects improve, but as I mentioned, this is all theorizing. We'll have to wait and see how they perform on the field.
But listen, just to interrupt, it's a very valid point that you make about the match being shortened, and there is talk about the match being shortened because there's a threat of rain, intermittent rain throughout in Birmingham. So there is a possibility that the match may get shortened. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully we'll get a 50-over game, and like you said, if it is a 50-over game, I think we will be firm favourites at the start.
Absolutely. Another question that I'm going to ask Mr. Menon is that India's bowling, may have a lot of firepower, but the batting, in spite of the weight of the names that India has in their batting lineup, number of their batsmen have been a bit short on runs. If you see Ajinkya Rahane, he hasn't had a great IPL. Rohit Sharma has had a few half centuries in the IPL. He hasn't had a great run as well. Neither Virat Kohli, not even Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So, do you think India's batting would be a little bit of a cause for a worry?
I don't know whether it's worry. I think the openers have to do well. As Rohan mentioned earlier, that they've got a very good attack in Mohammad Amir, Wahab Riaz and so on. So the top 3 have to ensure that, wickets don't tumble early, because that puts a lot of pressure on the middle order. And remember, again, it's a 50-over game. In T20, you can, you can take other measures. You can hit your way out of trouble. But in a 50-over game, it's going to be difficult if you try those methods. And from what we've seen, if the match is played out entirely, these are the pitches which are producing scores of 300 and some more. So anything less than 300, I think 300 would be a par score. And if you make 300, if you're batting first, then that is going to put a lot of pressure on Pakistan, because they don't seem to have the batting depth. But if you make about 250, 260, then you open the game up for the opponents. And I think that's really should be occupying the Indian minds, the think tank and the batsmen certainly. Remember that Virat Kohli has had a decent knock in the warm-up match. Dinesh Karthik has looked in good form. Mahendra Singh Dhoni and Yuvraj Singh, loads of experience. But they shouldn't be exposed too early. I think that's the issue. That if the top three get past the 20 over mark, 25 over mark, then it becomes a game strongly veering towards India in terms of scoring runs.
I think.
Yeah, Rohan.
So, sorry, I think it's a good point you made again about Dinesh Karthik getting a lot of runs. I just want to come in here a bit and it's a decision which the Indian think tank need to take. Are they going to play Dinesh Karthik or will they play Yuvraj Singh? Also, I think another decision that they need to make is whether they'll go in with two spinners or they might get Hardik Pandya in for one of the spinners. A couple of decisions that we'll find out which way the Indian team is going when the game starts and the team is announced. But I think Yuvraj Singh will play because of his experience, like you mentioned, even though Dinesh Karthik has scored runs in the warm-up game. I think the key team selection decision will be whether Hardik Pandya plays or one of the spinners plays, whether it's R. Ashwin or Jadeja.
But just to add to what Rohan is saying, that I would tend to agree with him. Depends on how the captains read the pitch, what the weather condition is like. But Yuvraj also gives the option of 5-6 overs with his left arm spin. So you could, if the pitch seems or the conditions seem helpful for fast bowlers, then India might actually take a decision to play only one specialist spinner and hope that Yuvraj can fill in a few overs along with maybe a Hardik Pandya, so that the balance is not lost entirely where spin is concerned, and yet you play out you play to the conditions of favouring the fast bowlers.
Absolutely. No Junaid Khan, Rohan Gavaskar would be a big blow for Pakistan. He has had a great record against Virat Kohli. He has dismissed Kohli 3 times in one-days, and Kohli has just scored 2 runs in the 22 balls that he has ever faced against Junaid Khan. Loss of Junaid Khan a big blow for Pakistan, Rohan Gavaskar?
Yeah, it's a big blow for Pakistan. It's a big blow for Virat Kohli also. I'm pretty sure Virat Kohli, knowing the kind of person he is and the kind of player he is, would like to set that record straight, because the next time India play Pakistan, this record will come up again. Look, I agree there are certain times certain bowlers seem to have the better of you, but Virat Kohli is a genius. He's a top quality player. He won't be losing sleep over the fact that Junaid Khan is playing or not playing. He'll be very focused. But it's a big blow because Junaid Khan again is a quality bowler. But like Ayaz mentioned earlier, they've got Mohammad Ahmed, they've got Wahab Riaz, even Imad Wasim, the left arm spinner. He's with his left arm darts, he's not easy to get away. So they've got a quality attack. I think our batsmen will need to be on top of the game to do really well over here.
A word on Shoaib Malik, Rohan Gavaskar. He is the highest run scorer and wicket taker from the current Pakistan team against India. He would be a key player for Pakistan in this contest.
No, he would, of course, with his experience. Shoaib Malik, Mohammad Hafiz, with their experience, and then you talk about the experience that the Indian players have. These two bring a lot of experience to the table as far as Pakistan are concerned. And again, lot of responsibility on their shoulders. Someone like Babar Azam, he's been in top form. Like I said, 500s in 11 ODIs. But the experience of playing against India, Mohammad Hafiz, these guys, Shoaib Malik, they are the ones who will sort of settle the nerves that are there in the Pakistan team. So a lot riding on these players and their experience.
And how do you rate some of the youngsters, the young Turks of the Pakistani team, the Fakhar Zamans and the Fahim Ashrafs and the Shadab Khans?
Well, I think there's so much talent in Pakistan. I think it's one of those countries where if you go and see, I'll tell you a story from 1999 when I was part of the India A team that went to Pakistan. We used to get local bowlers to come and bowl in the nets. Because when you're on tour you need net bowlers to practice, because you don't want to tire your bowlers out. And the local net bowlers, they'd come with rubber soled shoes, not in proper cricket shoes, but they were outstanding. The kind of talent that they possessed, they were quick, they were fast, they were getting the ball to swing. I remember me and Ajit Agarkar, we used to talk and we were saying, look at the kind of talent these guys possess. They've just come in with rubber soled shoes, canvas shoes, and they were getting the ball to, really touching 140, 145 and swinging both ways. So look, Pakistan is a country with a lot of talent. they need to, again, like I said, they are inconsistent. It just depends on which Pakistan shows up today. Is it the consistent Pakistan, the good Pakistan, where all their players are bringing the A game to the table, or is it that kind of Pakistan which is going to choke? Again, it's just a matter of which Pakistan shows up. But to answer your question, their talent, the youngsters, they've got a lot of talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Debo, I'll just add to what he's saying. So it's interesting. See, the India-Pak match is so high profile that it offers an opportunity or a platform for a young talent to become a hero, So therefore, and they are not under as much pressure as the experienced player. So whether it's a Pakistani or an Indian player, this is the opportunity. People still remember Kanitkar's last ball for, in a match against Pakistan. And therefore he remains a hero in Indian fans' minds. And likewise, Manzoor Ilahi from Pakistan. I'm talking of my days before Rohan's days, playing days. So these are opportunities that young Pakistanis will also look for. I think the issue is, and he mentioned rightly, that guys like Hafiz and Shoaib Malik will bring down the temper on the field because the youngsters can get excited. And likewise, it will be for the Indian team. But the Indian team has played a lot more together. This Indian team, this entire bunch have been together for the past 5-6 years, give or take 1 or 2 players. They've been through a lot of experiences. They've had great heights that they have reached. They haven't slumped badly. Don't forget that Pakistan have barely made it to the Champions Trophy by the skin of their teeth. Yep. They bumped off West Indies from this team and they're ranked number 8. So in that sense, all odds favor India. But an Indo-Pak match always affords the opportunity for somebody to end up playing the big hero of the day.
Absolutely. As Memon, staying on with you, Mahendra Singh Dhoni has the second highest average by an Indian player against Pakistan among all players who have scored at least 1,000 runs against Pakistan in one-days. Looking forward to a Dhoni special maybe?
Yeah, I mean, look, this always intrigues me that what is the Dhoni special? Is it a long innings? Is it a great finish? Is it, and people tend to ignore the kind of work he does behind the stumps. We're all interested in seeing the big sixes from Dhoni's blade. So in that sense, it's been a kind of a stereotyping, justified to some extent because that's the kind of player he is and that's the kind of, which excites the spectators. But I think Dhoni's value goes just beyond his, mighty bat and the way he swings it. I think he's a terrific asset behind the stumps. He's unorthodox as a wicketkeeper, but he is very, very effective. And yes, also as, in a sense, the advisor-in-chief to the captain wherever he has played. Because he is so, the sheer depth of experience that he's got, the canniness that he's got, the situations that he can read is invaluable. Where do you get it? It's coming to Virat Kohli on a platter.
Yep.
I think that's the value that Dhoni brings.
Absolutely. So final thoughts?
So, just to again interrupt, I think Virat Kohli will not be hoping for a Dhoni special because he'll be hoping that Dhoni doesn't have to bat.
Yep.
The number that Dhoni bats in, he'll be hoping that his top order do the job and the match is done before Dhoni has to do a special. Because if Dhoni has to come in and do a special, which means that there will be a point where India would be in trouble. And it will be a nervous game. Now, I'm pretty sure Virat Kohli wouldn't want that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, final thoughts from both of you. As Memon, scales are tilted in India's favor?
Yes, on paper certainly, on current form certainly. I think, look, if India is batting first, if they bat out 50 overs, if they play out the 50 overs well, then I think they'll be in strong control of the game because I would imagine that they would be 300 close to that or a little beyond. And that will put a lot of pressure on the Pakistan batting. If India don't last the 50 overs, then obviously there's a serious problem. In which case, if the conditions are helping the bowlers, then the Indian bowlers have to come good. But, as I mentioned earlier, the shorter the game, it kind of brings Pakistan more into the match than I would otherwise think it would happen.
Final thoughts, Rohan Gavaskar?
Well, I think India are firm favourites. Like I said at the start of the show, I think there are very few players from the Pakistan team which would walk into my combined India-Pakistan 11. And if both teams play to potential, I'm saying even if Pakistan plays to potential and if India plays to potential, I think India should win this game.
Absolutely. India are the firm favourites. That's what our experts say. For the moment, though, this is all that we have in this program, which is brought to you by OPPO. I take this opportunity to thank both my guests and remind the viewers to keep following First Post for all live scores and updates and discussions on this big match. We'll be back at innings break, discussing the match as it progresses. Till then, take care.